What's good, YouTube land? My word collector here. It's another Kamen Saber review. Are you surprised? You shouldn't be. And for this one, we don't need this. Yeet! Because we are taking a look at Saber's final form. Upgrade item. The DX Haouken Xross Saber. That's cross with an X. As in Xross. Because 90s! I don't know. So this is his upgrade sword, which supposedly is his final form. I think we're so into the show that it most likely will be his final form, unless they randomly come out with another ride book to go with it. But this is his final sword. He's not going to get like another sword, probably. He might get like another movie crossover, because he's getting another crossover movie Wonder Ride book, the Zenkaiger Ride book, which is a repaint of this. So you never know; they could pull something out of their ass. But here we go. Here's the box. Here is Xross Saber in his lazy form. I find, as I said, very lazy because they just took the base suit, painted it blue and purple and sparkly, and said, "Here you go." Like, the sword is cool. The form, eh. The two other forms he uses with this, at least two of them, because there's a third, there's three, or there are four forms, no, there's 5 forms associated with this, sort of. We'll get into it. But there's the picture, there's the main one with Brave Dragon. On the top, you can see Xross Saber right there. The sword, a bigger picture of his suit, sad Pac-Man, and all the stuff it does on the back. So, let's unsheath our sword. As you can see, it's just encased in plastic. Unfortunately, this will not let us rule England, but one can wish. So here is the Xross Saber. I like it a lot. Here's the first off the size comparison. It is quite bigger, even if you go battery pack to battery pack, which I believe is pretty much the same mold. Yeah, we've got three swords that use the same battery pack setup, but this one is the biggest one. It also has a little bit more weight to it because of that bit right there, which I wish locked in a bit more because I end up just knocking it up a bit when just with basic play. So, if my only slight nitpick would be it's not locked enough because it's a bit too easy to flick. But yeah. I like the color scheme, the blue with the sparkly and the hints of purple. So let's turn it on.
Haouken Xross Saber.
I like that his handguard, his logo, has evolved from just being fire to the actual sun. Like, that is quite an evolution. I like that. We'll talk about this whole system in a bit. This bit and the whole blade is soft, squishy plastic. And also, you can see, sort of, that all 10 main rider logos are put right there. There's 3 there. Rekka, Nagare, Ikazuchi. I'm not gonna. And then Gekido, Hayate Suzune, and then Kurayami, Saiko, Noroshi, and Kajiki up here. So the lore behind the sword is basically, it's a bit of a ramble, but the main bad guy, or one of the main bad guys, the leader of the Sword of Logos, set up a whole thing to acquire as many ride books as possible to get the power of Kamen Rider Solomon. Yes, Solomon from the Bible. Or I don't know which biblical figure Solomon is. I'm not up on my religious stuff, but basically the powers of a god in Kamen Rider form. So he obtained them, and then nobody could beat him, basically. And he was threatening to destroy the whole world, which doesn't make sense when I think he wants to rule the world. But there have been no subtitles for since episode, I forget when the stupid person on Twitter complained to somebody about something, and fan dubbing is basically null and void. At least one company doing it. That's a very bad story of what happened, but whatever. That's besides the point. So all 10, hence why there are 10 here, 10 holy swords, basically got them together in one area, and they basically they went up into the sky and they summoned down the Haouken Xross Saber. And there are more, if you want to be nitpicky, there are more than 10 holy swords, because the Sword of Null should count as one, and the sword for Solomon counts as another one. So technically there are 12. This being number 13 instead of 11. But that is besides the point. This is the toy they made. And that is the sound. You know what? We'll go into the main sound of the sword now before we get into this, because there's not a book reader in this. There's not one of those. So instead of being able to actually read the books, it has set transformation calls based off how many books you have in here, but it also has more sounds to make up for it. So this, as you saw, is movable. It's moving up and down a track with this piece behind. And each of these is actually, it has a, here, let me just show you. Like that. Although I don't appreciate being shouted at. Like, you're calm down, sword, you're being a little aggressive. But each of them has, so I'll just do one to show off. So you have an attack. And there are 10 attacks. I'm not going to go through them all individually, because that takes way too much time. So instead, we're going to go through all 10 in one shot. So much shouting! So you can do that. Or you can just do like that. Basically, you can come up with as many combinations as you want with the 10 symbols. So that's one feature. Another feature is actually with the sun. The red dot in the middle, it's actually a button. And you activate that. So you can do I'm gonna redo that. Which is Kidoku three sacred swords, 6 sacred swords, 10 sacred swords. So those are the attack features. You can do, again, either 1, 2, or 3 if you want. I'm going to turn it off now because there's actually a little bit of a trick to it. I just want to show off the back and all the sculpted detail. And this bit is softish plastic as well. So if you hold the trigger while you turn it on, it activates the talk feature, where you get a few quotes from Kamen Rider Saber. Why can't I remember his human name? I remember Rintaro. Oh, fuck his name. Hold on. Kamiyama Toma, I remembered without actually looking it up. So you get a bunch of sound effects from Toma's voice actor, from his not voice actor, but his actor. Imo is good. I think it's something like "I will save you." You just get a ha. In between each line of dialogue, you get a different yeah. What yeah? There's his catchphrase, which loosely means I will decide how this story ends. I will save you, it's a promise. I forget the whole phrase, but something about hope. Something about strength. I will defeat you and save the world. I won't give up till the end, I swear. I don't know the translation for Miradesh, but then it resets. And it goes, you can still do the other things. I don't know why it skipped over Ikazuchi for one there, but yeah, you can still do everything else. And now I'm going to reset it because I don't feel like hearing Toma. So that's just a little bit of an Easter egg, how you actually access that. And now, we actually have to use it in... I like that softer sound. I like that sound. Now we have to use it in here. And if you thought the transformation jiggles from before were a little bit much, this is the definition of a little bit much. So we're just going to start with Brave Dragon. Very Final Fantasy-esque. I don't know if you're ready yet. Henshin! Yeah, that. You know your song is long when in the next episode after it debuts, they immediately cut it down to just the Xross Saber. Like, they cut out the whole beginning part. Like, I say Final Fantasy-esque, I assume, because I've only ever played one Final Fantasy game. And it's 9. So, that is a long-ass jingle. But I kind of love it. That's what that jingle made me immediately go, okay, this toy is cooler than I expected. And also, you get the same sound clips from Toma if you just press the trigger. Whoop, well, never mind. If you... No, I'm not... Well... If you don't have a Wonder Ride book, he does all the phrases, just without the ha's in between. And it's a Kamen Rider staple in their final upgrade item, at least in the show, in their current season, to put the voice clips. So that's what kind of leads me to believe they won't release another Blade for Toma for, like, because if they were planning to do that, they wouldn't have put all his voice clips in this one. Yeah. So, the thing about this not having a reader is it doesn't matter, for example, what Wonder Ride book is in there. It will just read the transformation jingle that's programmed for one book. So, I can do this. So, yeah. Which is a little bit unfortunate, but I kind of understand with what they wanted to do. So, on the box, one of his forms involves Brave Dragon and King of Arthur. I don't have King of Arthur, but as I mentioned, you don't need the specific... Well, only for one form do you need the specific books, but the other forms, it will just work with any 2 Wonder Ride books. So I'm just going to use... I don't know if I like that more than the first one. It's not as epic. Well, it's not as it doesn't raise as much. But there's a hi, hi, hi. Like there are cool moments in the song. So his third form, I'm going to do actually accurately because it's requires it's Crimson Saber, so it uses his Crimson Crimson Dragon form, which thankfully I have, so we'll use that. Damn it, I'm trying to do it in the... I look at the camera. I kind of like that one because it has a bit of a more fast-paced hip hop sounding section in the middle. Whoops. So, the final form I can show you is Hybrid Saber. I don't have any Legend Rider Wonder Ride books, but his Hybrid Saber, which I don't know if it's his strongest, but it feels like it would be, involves Lion Senki and Valentina, because there's a whole story about them basically him reconnecting with Espada. Damn it. I'm trying. Whatever. I'm not going to look up his name this time. Or am I? Oh, right. Kento. Kento Fukumiya. I think that's how the last name is pronounced. Fukumiya. Okay. Yeah, Kento. So there's a whole story arc of him, Kento, coming around to not being so dark and edgy. So I like how I missed that. And there's the sound for a hybrid saber as it keeps flashing. And yeah, I don't have the Legend Rider. It shows Ghost, Build, and Zeo, but I don't have any. So if I ever get some, I might do an update in a future video. But that is the end. Or is it? Because this actually has its own sound when used with this. It actually fits. Which I thought is cool. It's a little... Is that shown on the package? It's actually not. Interesting. So that is everything. I might as well do size comparison. So here it is with the Suzune. And it's actually, if we go tip to tip, a bit longer. But admittedly, this is still bigger as a gun. And obviously the big boy, yeah, nowhere near. But nothing is, really. So, do I recommend the Haouken Xross Saber? Yes. But mostly if you already have this. Because half the sounds come from having a collection of Wonder Ride books to do the perform. You can do, obviously, you can do all this, but it's kind of only half the full experience, which is why I sort of wish that they actually put out like sort of a premium set where you get this and this along with some ride books, because as far as this video, at the time of this is the only, they've only released this by itself. So, hilariously, after this got released, they released an updated version with an extra micro SD card, or no, just a regular SD card with actual like a henshin sound effects from the from the actors. So you have one from Toma, one from Rintaro, one from Kento. They released a friggin' updated version of this, which is hilarious to me because why couldn't they have put them in when it was debuted? They were already, although they hadn't shown up. Rintaro showed up in episode 2. Kento showed up a couple episodes later. Why did they? Just more money. They just wanted more money there. They didn't want to. You could justify it by saying they didn't want to give away too much too quickly, but I don't know. It's so hilarious, the obvious blatant cash in. But I feel like I now sound like a hypocrite saying I hope they do a second release of this with more stuff, because you only get half the experience with just the sword. The sword, it's awesome. I like the sword. It has a little bit more heft to it than. There you go. I don't know if I showed that off properly. Tip to tip. But it has a little bit more heft than than either the Unkoken or the Seiken. But there we go. So I do recommend it, but if you have a collection of Wonder Ride books, because then you get the full experience. Which I feel like I'm repeating myself. Okay. I'll wrap up before I keep repeating myself. This is not the last Saber review by far. Definitely not. I have a few more things on the way. Some were ride books, some things. Oh, okay. I was curious if this hadn't checked whether this activated like this or not yet. But yeah, there'll be more. There'll be more Saber reviews as we get ready for Kamen Rider Revice to debut. He's already shown up. We've seen images of him. We've done the whole. Is it a blue dress or is it was it blue and what was that old meme where the dress picture looked different to different people? We've already kind of done that with Revice because his suit. Well, it's the colors of the was it the trans flag? The pink and the blue, which looks awesome. I'm excited for another pink rider. I always love me some pink riders. But it apparently looks different to different people. And I haven't even touched Ultraman Trigger's toy line yet. I haven't even bought anything yet, so look forward to that, I guess. So thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. I don't know why I decided to strike a martial arts pose, whatever. Bye. Keep it weird.